Hear him out. Welcome to the show, Isaac.
Thank you guys.
Exciting to have you on the show, no?
Thank you guys for having me.
First things first, I mean, right now everything's crazy, right? So how's your quarantine so far? Everything okay at home?
I think it's been good. I'm really blessed that I don't really have to go out. I've been home most of the time. I think the struggle for me was staying fit. I'm currently a player for the national team, and even though we're in quarantine, we're not playing, we're not supposed to be training, like we still have to remain fit. So that's been a
Uh-huh.
challenge at home because I'm used like I honestly enjoy going to the gym. There's something about going to the gym, looking forward to it. Like I want to
Yes.
get better.
Hmm.
That there's something about it. Like honestly, home workouts are good, but it's different. It's like there's a certain feeling about it when you go to a gym. Like you get excited to go to the gym. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm just waiting, man. I want to hit the gym.
Super relate. Oh my god, I felt that. If I could retweet that, I would.
Okay, so very quickly, Isaac, what's your training at home like? So you say it's different in the gym and it's different at home. So what is the at home setting like?
For one, I don't have a court, so I'm not shooting. I've bought weights. I've bought adjustable ones, so I've been at least able to get my lift now to a certain extent. I've been running outside in our driveway, trying to get into better shape because I can't really go out. I don't have a treadmill at home. So I gotta make do with the space I have and just maximize it, man. And I'm lucky that I'm able to do ball handling drills outside because I have a driveway and that's something that you don't need a court to do. But overall, I think that there's still some pieces I need to get for my home gym to hopefully maximize it. But right now, I'm happy with my setup.
Right, that's great to hear, and really making do with what you have, no? I mean, that's an important thing we all have to try to do in these strange times, don't you think? Don't you think, Nina?
Yeah, we really just have to learn how to adjust. I mean, building a home gym, like I felt that. Like I keep on thinking, oh, I want to build a home gym also, but no space.
Actually, bis nakita ko mga workout ni videos ni Ninya kasi, dun ako nag-start. So parang
Oo nga.
parang, okay, I think I should buy weights. I see people using weights like this at the start of quarantine. I honestly just used bands because I thought this should blow over in a couple of months.
Diba? I was also thinking that. But no, dude, no.
Adjustable dumbbells are like I got the metal ones, so they aren't as expensive as the plastic ones you see.
Uh-huh.
But like there's a limit to the weight you can put on them. It's quite a hassle to keep like when you put them to the side and you're gonna change weights.
Oh
It's
my
very
god.
difficult. So like it's such a hassle, but you gotta make do. You gotta make do with what you have, and that's portable. So honestly, one of the better investments I've made. But I've honestly want the home gym now. Like looking forward, I want to build my own home gym.
Oh my god. Same, super same. Don't you think you should do that also, Jeff? Instead of like, what if he and Jim?
Well, okay, honestly, every time I see Nina's videos, I get so pressured. But oh my god, I'm not exercising. What am I
No, but
doing?
it's not supposed to pressure you. It's supposed to like, okay, wala lang. This is actually, when I post that, it's more like, okay, accountability for myself na, okay, I exercise today. Yun lang.
Right.
Other days though, I'm so tamad to post on Instagram. So
I feel attacked. But okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I didn't mean it that way.
Sorry, Jeff.
But like, what if like Jim plus T? Oh, diba? Like that can be your new Sunday show.
Yes, indeed. Moving on. Okay.
Why are you laughing?
Wala, I find it funny lang. Moving on. Diba? The act of moving on is funny. Diba? Sometimes moving on can be funny. No, we don't expect it to happen, but we just sort of move on
May
sometimes.
pinaguhugutan si Jeff.
Ayun. So actually, I'm very interested to bring up something. No, I told Isaac. Well, I don't know if you remember Nina, but one of the reasons why we have Isaac on the show is that someone suggested Isaac to be a guest. Like we had a person message on the account, but could we have Isaac go? So may fan.
Oh my god.
Oh
Taray.
wow.
Yeah.
I feel so honored. I
I
feel so
mean,
honored.
it's Isaac. He has a lot of fans, so I
Of
get
course,
it.
of course. And I've known Isaac when we were back in Xavier pa. I was always the class number before him.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, class numbers. I haven't heard that in a
Yeah,
while.
kasi I'm H and he's G. So parang he's always the one before me. I forgetting. Let me try
Yeah.
English again. I forgetting my alphabet. He's the one before me. No. So Isaac, I'm really curious to know, how did you begin, no, in basketball? Like, I'm sure, I don't know, was it in Xavier or even before Xavier pa? So how did that all begin?
Actually, before Xavier kasi, my bro's really the one who loved basketball. My older brother, like, as in, he would eat, sleep, breathe basketball. Back then, on Saturdays, he'd wake up at 6 a.m. to catch NBA on sports. I forgot the channel. But at 32 to 34, there were sports channels back then in Sky Cable. And that's what he would watch. He'd watch at
Mhm.
6 a.m. in the morning. And in the afternoon, he'd want to go play. But because wala siyang kalaro,
Uh-huh.
by default, it became me. So being the younger brother, always hatak, always playing. And then eventually he tried out. But when he
Mhm.
tried out, my parents said, "Oh, sige, sama ka na ba? Your brother's trying out na yun eh." And that's where I think, really got started with basketball. Like, I joined the occasional XABL camps back in nursery and prep, but never really like dove down. It's just like more of a summer activity where your parents want you to get out of the house, stop watching TV, you need to do something else and explore. No, not only that, but to
Oh my
explore
god.
other things, maybe find interest. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to try basketball, right? So
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's where I really got started. And eventually, we both tried out. Jarrell tried out. He was my classmate in grade two.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
Would you be surprised? Actually, Aaron Black was also in that same class.
What? I thought he's Ateneo.
Yes. Aaron Black was in Xavier till to grade two.
Yeah, I remember that. He was our batchmate for some time,
Mhm.
right?
And then,
Oh my
I guess
god.
nahatak lang ako and that's where it started.
Opog pala eh. Woo, let's go. One pride, one glory. Joke.
Ooh, opog.
Opo.
Oh my God. Wala, diba? That's your tagline sa Xavier,
Oo.
diba? Opog.
Opog. One pride, one glory. Hashtag opog.
So let's talk about your Xavier career. What was like the most memorable game you had like throughout grade school and high school? Diba you were part of the team?
Pinag-isipan ko pa.
It's been a long time ago.
Um, Because honestly, I think that in terms of my Xavier career, I really didn't have like outstanding games. Like, I would always have just plain old me every game. So it was either I didn't play or I had
Mhm.
plain old games by Isaac. So like nothing super special. So
Hmm.
maybe I'm trying to think. Really, I don't think I have like one memorable game because
Wow, that's new. Oh my God.
okay, let's be. I wasn't like Tyler who started in the beginning. Tyler was like starting out and getting a lot of minutes immediately. Like, I was benched. Like, I didn't make the team for 2 to 3 years in grade school. And then high school, I think siguro most memorable. Um, Damn, nothing's my brain is blank right now.
What's your fondest memory na lang siguro? If not the
Yeah.
memorable game, the memory that that you cling on, or that you look back fondly to in Savory basketball siguro.
I think I have a different memory now. Something came to mind now, but it's not exactly something I hold on to. But at least it's a story I can share in the future. That I was there when Jeron scored 104. I was on that team when he scored 104 points.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, it's not me personally. Like, I've never scored more than 20 points, I think. Like, I think I only scored more than 20 points once in my high school career. Not even, I think, but like,
Oh my
when you
God.
see that game, like, you knew something was special, something special was gonna happen. He just took over. And you can never imagine how scoring 104 points is possible until you've watched that game, unless you were there. Because you're not gonna find videos of it. You're not gonna be able. There's no videos of it. I think
Oo nga. I don't think there
that's
are.
why. So it's
Yeah, now
something
that
that I can at least tell my kids that, hey, I was there when Jerome scored 104 points.
But like, are you sure? Because like, I don't know why, but like, I really like remember people saying you were good. Like, I was still in high school, and then people were saying that like you were one of the names that pop up. Like, yung tipong, I don't know your face yet, but I hear the name a lot. So I'm just like, oh, okay, so he's one of the good athletes, I guess. So I think you're just I think you're just not thinking that you're good, but you are.
Di naman, but I think kasi like people tend to promote the basketball team, like the athletes and savior, that just because you're a member, kilala ka na. So you may be hearing my name just because I was part of the team.
No, I only knew like a couple of names. Promise, as in like I only knew a couple of names.
We were only how many in my batch, and the batch, like, we're not a lot. We're not a lot to begin with.
But like I wasn't batchmates with you, so
True.
there was that. See, okay, oh ha, I win. What? Win what?
congratulations, Nina.
I don't even know what I want. Sorry.
Isaac, you mentioned that, sige, maybe you thought that you weren't the best athlete in the team, but how did the recruitment to Ateneo go? How did that sort of just happen?
I think it started because in my first year of high school, I got my first real break. I got to join the under 16 youth program by Energen. I think that's where it started. I got my chance to play in the national team at a young age, being exposed to international opponents. How does it mean to be a national team? How does it mean to represent your country? And actually, LaSalle, I think, was talking to me in my third year. Like LaSalle was the first one. Hey, you want to come practice with us? I went on a visit, but then like that was third year. Then I think second year. Sorry, second year. They were talking to me already. But then when third year came around, it was like, I mean, like no disrespect. Maybe really they felt that I wasn't the player that they would think that would fit the system. Maybe they found other people to fill in my role. So like, okay, we don't need to add another piece because we already got it filled. And then eventually
Mhm.
Ateneo came around. It was Sir Pao and Coach Bo first who came in to talk to me, asked me about my recruitment. Would I be interested if I would be interested in playing for Ateneo? Really simple recruitment process. It wasn't like Tyler where okay, you the year before you're coming with us to the States in training. So it was more low key, really. Then eventually after Sir Pao, it was Boss Epoch who came in. So it was Boss Epoch and Coach Bo talking to me about okay, coming to Ateneo and playing. And I think they also knew that I was looking at not just basketball but educational standpoint. So they felt that I was a good fit for the team. And I was big already back then. So I think Ateneo's our imports, which was our foreign students, sorry. Ike, KG, and Sega Mars were still under residency. So they needed a little bit of size coming in until they could play. So siguro that's why they got me. They
Mhm.
felt that I would fit the system, that they saw something in me that would help the program down the line. And I committed towards the end of my senior year.
So like let's talk about like that whole Ateneo journey. Like your story always pops up. So like let's talk about like how it was in your first year and then how everything you did led to what happened in your final year, right? Like let's start muna like first year. How did you react to everything?
First year, kasi, okay, I saw the team. We had a strong recruit and we were like 8 recruits. And I think if you tally the top 10 of the recruits of that batch, like 6 or 7 of them went to Ateneo. Okay, and I'm not included on that list, okay. And one of the top 10 went to LaSalle, and I forgot who would I put in the top last two slots, but that wasn't me. Okay. So of
Mhm.
course I was like, okay, I know that I'm not gonna play because traditionally the transition for bigs from high school to college takes longer. Because in high school you're playing
Mhm.
against undersized
Yeah.
guys. There's not a lot of big guys in high school. But when you make the jump to the pros,
Yeah.
you're playing against the Kareem Abduls, the Alfred Arogas, the Bright Aquetis.
Oh my god, I remember they were yeah.
You're facing really grown, strong men. You're not going up against 6'2", 6'1", really stocky players who were forced to play big because there was no other bigs. You're
Good
actually
point.
playing legitimate
Oh
bigs.
my god.
No, on all
I heard
seriousness,
that
like
from
yeah, that's
you.
true. So the physicality is a lot harder to transition with for bigs than it is for guards. Guards
Mhm.
tend to play more in their first year. And if you've seen that in the college ranks, it's pretty obvious. Like you see for SJ Belangel playing well in his second year. You see
Mhm.
rookie Mark Nonoy playing a lot in his first year. You see a lot of these guards take more minutes in the beginning rather than rookie bigs.
Mhm.
Mhm.
My focus on the first year really, I think, was just okay. I'm gonna crack this roster because we were a lot.
Mhm.
We had like
Yeah.
the year before that, only 3 or 4 graduated. I think not a lot, and then you have now
Mm.
eight players coming in. That doesn't include the players from
Mhm.
Team B who they were looking at. So like my first goal was
Oh,
to
okay.
crack the roster, but then
Mhm.
so every year the team would go on a trip to the States for training camp around June, July. But the weekend before we were gonna leave, I dislocated my shoulder. So
Oh.
I mean, it was a recurring issue I had in high school, but then it has never, parang, it reached a point what was too severe na. So upon consultation with Doc Canlas, he said, even if you'd have surgery now before you leave, you're not gonna make it time for the season. So what we're gonna do is
Mhm.
I think the best course of action is for you to go to the States, continue to train but no contact, and just be around the team, be around the guys. Because it's very difficult because they knew that I was gonna make the team either the next year or the year after that. And they felt that if I left the team now and opted not to go to the States, it's very difficult to come back in the team, especially if they've shared together 1 year. So I still went to the state. I still trained. I still bonded with these guys. And of course, I had surgery when I came back. I was out till December. So that's the rehab. I mean, by
Oh.
December, I was playing pretty relaxed, like the weekend warriors type of basketball game. That level of intensity, not so physical, just more of getting up and down. So I really couldn't play my first year. So that was out. So gone. 2014 was season 70s.
Basta 2015 to 2016 was season
Okay, so
17.
season 77. Okay. Season 77. 82 pa lang ngayon. So 77.
Oh my god, it feels so old. Oh my god, let's not put the numbers. That makes me feel old. Joke.
Me and Jeff are older than you.
I know,
But
but
not
I
a lot.
still.
You don't have to stress that we're old.
Yeah. No, but yeah, guys. Anyone listening, they are older than me. So if you think I'm old, they're older. So
Yeah.
let's just put it out there. Joke lang.
No.
So let's talk about now how from after first year, how you were able to crack the roster nga, like after recovering and then leading up to like that big final year.
So before my second year, so after December, I knew that I had to train twice as hard because I lost 6 months. So what I would do was I would train with Team B under Coach Yuri before our practices, before Team A practices. So I'd have double trainings. Like sometimes it would be back to back. And I would play with Team B on games because Team A has a program where some of the guys, let's say, like who didn't really get to play that season, are sent down to the B team for like on a loan program so that they can have games under their belts, have
Mhm.
reps. So I was sent under there, and that's where I improved eventually until I cracked the roster that year. So my real rookie year, which was my second year in college, I didn't play the entire first round. I only played, but only 3 minutes, I think. And I was called for an offensive foul without even a time. With right, you know how there's a game clock, right? And once the ball is thrown in bounds, the clock runs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was called for an offensive foul even before the ball was thrown in.
Oh my
Oh.
So that was like
god.
my welcome to the UAP kid. You waited for a
Sorry for
year.
laughing.
You waited for a
Oh my
year. That's what you got.
god. Sorry for laughing.
No,
Okay,
it's
go
okay.
on.
No, it's okay. It's really something funny. It's something I look back. It's so funny. I look back onto it. It's like, how did you do that? Like, that's your first memory in the UAP.
Well, I mean that's very memorable.
Very
At least like
memorable.
it's something special.
Right.
How did that happen? I don't what?
But wait, speaking of memories though, Isaac, no? Or were there any memorable games in your career at this point?
Ooh.
Kasi kanina and Xavier wala masyado. But what about here?
Favorite lang? One lang? One lang.
No, list it all.
A lot?
Hindi. One lang. Baka pag all yan, hindi, we'll need another episode.
Pwede yan.
The biggest one.
Honestly, there's three that I really can't choose up to now. I'm still thinking
Okay,
like
O
go.
sige, 3 is fine. Basta hindi 20.
di naman thread. I had four, but the other one was like my first real big break. So that's okay. So I had three.
Okay. Okay.
Which was FEU the year after. So season 78 is when I played. No, wait.
78 was when you started playing.
That's my rookie year. 79.
Ito tayo sa numbers eh.
Sorry, yeah. Oh yeah. Tama, tama. So my second year, when Coach Tab came in, I had in the semifinals of the FU game. So it was a do or die game in the semifinals. We lost game one. I had the nosebleed game in game two. I'm not sure. That was I had a nosebleed game. So what happened was, so we lost game one,
Uh-huh.
and so we're in Moro, we're practicing. Coach Mike, who wasn't with NU back then, came up to me and said like, George, how do you allow Raymar Jose to grab 20 rebounds? He basically, okay, I'm trying to keep it. I think you can imagine what he
Yeah.
said next, but I'm not gonna say it because it's explicit. So
We're were labeled explicit anyway.
But no, but it's not super explicit. But like he beat you up basically. Like you allowed this guy to beat you up. So coming to game two, I had a different mentality coming in. We went into like I had a good game. It was one of my better games. Then we went into overtime. Then on an like around 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes left in overtime, Orizu accidentally hits my nose.
Oh my god, I remember this.
Nina knows this.
Oh
And
my
it
Oh.
god,
bled.
I'm not gonna laugh again. I'm gonna mute myself.
Grabe, every time something happens that's not very nice, Nina ends up laughing. Bakit ganon?
I'm sorry. It's memorable. Okay, the fact that I remember it and like UP wasn't there at all. It wasn't even against UP.
That was memorable. And I give credit, so much credit to Mom Louise, Doc Canlas, and Doc Molo. In
Mhm.
5 minutes, they patched me up. Like, I
Wow.
think less than 30 seconds of the game clock ran. They patched me
Yeah.
up. And up to this day, okay, here's the funny part. Me and Coach Tab and Coach Sandy argue about this.
What?
So, okay, they patching me up. My side is Coach Tab and Coach Sandy comes and asks if I'm ready, if I'm good to go. I say yes. And the doctors say yes. After a while, I hear him call me, so I go in. I check in the game.
Uh-huh.
But to their side, they said that I just ran up there. Like they didn't call me.
Oh my god, I didn't know this. Dude.
That's what they said. That I like they were about to call me, but I was already halfway through the scorer's table.
Bro, like I
And
didn't know this.
yeah, it's up to this day we argue about it. Like what really happened. And then off a tip from Vince, I score a basket that put us up by one.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh.
then so the year before that we lost in the finals because of a Macbello putback.
Mm.
And then the same like 30 slips, loses the ball, and that same memory comes back to me. And
Oh.
are we gonna lose on a last second shot? So
I,
we all try to run down. And because
uh-huh.
I'm not looking at the scoreboard because I'm running down the court. There's a scoreboard upstairs.
Uh-huh.
And I challenged Denison for the shot. And when I turn around, it goes in. So I thought we lost.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, you had the whole entire Ateneo bench run towards us. Like, dude, didn't we lose? If you watch that game, you will see my reaction that I thought we lost.
This is so funny because it just gets funnier. You had a nosebleed. You went there without the coach talking to you. You thinking you guys lost. My God.
Because I couldn't see anything. I just saw Denison shoot the ball. So if you watch that game and you see my reaction, you would have thought that we lost. Because I didn't know. Because I couldn't see if Denison got it off in time. All I saw was the ball went in.
Ang galing though. Oh my
So
God.
I think that's the one that needs more explanation. The other two I think was more simple. Was the FU three and the kneeling shot were in one game. That's it.
Oh my God. The kneeling shot. I remember that also.
That was the
That was big.
semifinals against FEU. Game two again the following year, and then
Mm-mm.
would be the next would be the LaSalle three. That sealed it for us.
Which was the game na I remember you were was that kneeling or like you were sitting down and then you still
Yeah,
ano is that the semi final
and that
one?
was the year after the semifinals against FEU where I hit the three to tie the game.
Yeah, but I remember everyone like my Twitter feed was just like, oh,
Yeah,
parang I don't want I want to have that ano amount of perseverance when it comes to my studies. The same way like Isaac just keeps going even if he's like on the floor and everything. I was like,
it's sorry. Like I'm not
I
gonna explain anymore these last two games because I think it's been out there more why these are special to me. So I think
Right.
the nosebleed game needed more explanation. So that's why it's not like I'm favoring the nosebleed game. It's just that
Yes, we just had to understand why a little bit more.
yeah.
Right now, Isaac, I'm wondering, are there specific people, maybe teammates, who had a big impact on you in this journey of yours?
That's a lot. Like we'd need 3 episodes if I named everybody. But to summarize, I think first was my family, my mom and dad, my brother Gian, and my sister Mika.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They've been there since day one. They were the ones who actually pushed me to play basketball, even though I wanted to quit.
Mhm.
They were the ones who kept saying, "Okay, okay lang yan, keep going." Who helped me, corrected my mistakes, encouraged me when I was down, pushed me when I needed it, and helped me in any way they could. So they're the people who've been there since my day one. When I was not even on the team, when I was sitting on the bench warming the bench for everybody, when I was leading the team in high fives and butt slaps. They're there.
Aw.
And then second would be, I guess, the people who the management and everybody behind the RP Youth program, Coach Olsen, Coach Nash, Coach Richie, Coach Eric, Coach BJ, Tito Joel, Tita Ito, Ate Mariana. They gave me my first real break in basketball. That was when I really said that maybe I can have a career in basketball. Maybe I can actually play in college. Maybe I can actually have a career in basketball. So if it wasn't for them giving me that big break, maybe I would have stopped in high school. Maybe I would have not worked harder to get into college.
Mhm.
And then third would be everybody in Ateneo. I've had so many coaches at Ateneo who helped me grow, each teaching me something different. Like they're the ones, like that's where I felt I really made the biggest jump in my basketball game.
Mhm.
Like I felt like from my grade school to high school days, like it looks big because I really didn't know how to play. So as they say, if you start at level 0, your growth looks bigger
Mhm.
compared to
Yeah.
someone who's already up there.
Yeah.
But then they pushed me to the next level. They fixed my body, they fixed my shot, helped me get faster, helped me fix my body to a point where I can say like not sure that I'm very unathletic. Like growing up, I had asthma, flat foot. I would
Oh
trip
my
all
god.
the time.
Mhm.
So I was all of that, and I couldn't do a push up till high school.
Where?
Honestly, like did not know how to do a push up,
No.
like a proper push up. I would do. It's not even called a half push up. Like it wasn't even a push up. I wouldn't even consider half a push up. That's how bad I was and how weak I was growing up.
Pero ang galing. I mean, like, all these people had like so much impact on you.
Yes, and then they turned my body, made me change the way I played the game, made me think the game. I think they helped me make a jump from being just a role player in the PBA to getting me to the number one pick.
Yeah. Oh
Mhm.
my
That's
god.
amazing. No?
I suddenly just remembered this one big story of you and Coach Tab in, I think it was about the finals, and then it had something to do with rice. Am I or
Okay, that
was
wasn't
that
yes, it wasn't in the finals, and
oh joke, I'm sorry.
di naman not in the finals, but okay, that story. Because Coach Tab is a firm believer of the keto diet. So if
Oh,
what the
Nina
list
cringed.
No.
okay, but keto diet means that you're eating minimal to no carbs. So and that's worked for him. So that's when the conversation started because they were trying to do as much as they can with my skills. They knew that my bodies had certain limits, so they were gonna try to maximize it.
Mhm.
So the next step would be naturally nutrition. So we had that conversation about losing a little bit more weight, getting more muscle, and that's really a conversation that you don't have in high school because the high school is
Yeah.
more skills, like because high school is easily dominated by players who are bigger, stronger, faster. Like
Yeah.
SNC in high school is growing now; it's getting better, but back then wasn't really at a point where you would see super athletes coming out of high school. So that's where the conversation started that maybe the keto diet was for me, maybe it would work. And he's a firm believer of that. And he's lost weight because of it.
Mhm.
So he tried it on me. But the argument was that I think growing up, I've always been taught to finish your food, appreciate what's served because there's so many people who are not able to eat.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
You're told at an early age to eat eat what they serve you. And of
Yeah.
course, we're in the Philippines and rice is in every meal.
Yes.
Of course.
And rice isn't bad, honestly. Like it's just understanding your body and what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of people about it and they agree. For some people, like I'll name drop, like Gian Mamuyak and Tyler can eat all the rice they want and they're not gonna get fat.
Mhm.
It works
Yeah.
for them. Unlike a guy like me, if I eat a little bit more rice, it turns into fat easier.
It really depends on your body type, though.
Yes. So that's where the conversation started. And then I tried keto for a while. I did lose weight, but I honestly felt weak.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, and I think it's hard for keto back in college was that keto snacks are hard to come by. So by default, the keto snacks I would get was fried chicken.
Without the skin pa, no?
Oh no, with the skin on because you can't really.
Oh.
It's deep fried.
Oh my god, you got the deep fried one. I just
It's that's what made it struggle for keto diet in college because
yeah.
in Ateneo really a lot of the snacks are carbs based
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that. Sandwiches, rice meals,
But it's harder to diet.
it's harder to diet. Yes. And honestly, let's be real. A Viant is like 40 to 50 pesos and the rice is like 10 to 12. So like
Mhm.
in a price point perspective, it's really more expensive.
Mhm.
So I think it was just there na the important takeaway I have about from that conversation is not that rice is bad or carbs is bad. It's more of nutrition is important. You have to
Yeah.
have a conscious effort about it. And it's gonna help you take you to the next level because nutrition can help a good athlete become great.
That's super true.
You mentioned earlier about eating snacks in Ateneo, and speaking of life in Ateneo generally, I just want to know what was it like being a student athlete? What was the biggest challenge that you had to face as a student athlete?
I think the first one would be that is that you have constrained time because practice takes up maybe 5 hours of your time and that builds up. So you lose about 27 to 30 hours a week on practices. So that's a lot of time.
Mhm.
And so that meant you had to sacrifice something. I personally chose to sacrifice social life because that's me.
Mhm.
So I really didn't go out. I didn't have orgs. I couldn't go out to that weekend party. Let's say like, oh, they're out of town. I couldn't go that.
Mhm.
So that's what the sacrifice I made back in college. So that's what made it difficult. I'm lucky that Block QQ during my time was really awesome. They knew where I came from. They knew that I was gonna work, I was gonna study. I just needed a little bit more time. I just needed a little bit more leeway. So normally I would request that I'd be the one of the last ones not to type on the paper so that everybody can rest and no one had to wait on me.
Oh, yeah.
And of course sleep. Honestly, I lost a lot of sleep in college.
Mm.
Like everybody probably. I would because we would end
Yes.
practice about 9. So I'd get
Yeah.
home 9:30, 9:45, take a shower, have dinner. So I start at 11. Basically around 10:30 to 11 is when I'm ready to go to work. And
Yeah.
I'd work till maybe 12 to 1 a.m. Because that's when I felt I was the most productive.
Mhm. Ooh, a night owl. I get that.
Yeah, same.
Then sleep and wake because when we drove back to college, when we go to college, me and my brother would want to. We prefer morning classes and we prefer to beat the traffic and so we can get parking. So
Mhm. Yeah.
we leave the house 6 or when we had 7:30 class, we'd leave early or at 8. We'd leave at 8
Mhm.
depending on the class. So once you get to Ateneo, go to class. I like to end my classes at lunchtime because after lunch you're never productive. I'm never productive after lunch. So that's when I would catch up on a little bit of work, sleep before practice. Yeah, that's what happened to me in college. It was a weird time sked for me. And honestly, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my stay in Ateneo. I've had a lot of different profs, a lot of different classes. I met a lot of people, especially in my towards my final years because my blockmates are on track and I was delayed. So I'd have
Mhm.
classes with other students, other batches.
Right. So you got
And
to meet other people too.
yes, and sometimes it's nice that being with your friends in class is nice because you have someone to talk to, someone to ask help from. And at the same time, you enjoy class because you're together.
Mhm.
But at the same time, sometimes when you don't have your friends there, it allows you to focus more because you're not chit chatting sometimes. You're not, and sometimes it forces you to get out of your comfort zone and meet new people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's what helped me also because I like to stay with my group of friends. I'm very private person.
Mhm.
So eventually as I got to this class, I had to make friends because I needed someone to help me sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
Honestly, with everything going on in college, sometimes you it's not really bad, but sometimes you just forget about that one assignment, that one
Yeah.
reading.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It happens.
And
And sometimes it's nice to have that person to remind you, hey, we got this reading due,
We have this to do. Yeah.
this
then-
assignment due, we got this report 2 weeks from now. College was fun, honestly, even though it's that you have that all that stories of forgetting an assignment, forgetting to do this.
Mhm.
So it was really fun. And in Ateneo really like people think that you're superstars just because you play basketball.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's not true in Ateneo. Like you have to work. Like people make you work. No one's gonna do it for you.
Yeah.
Mm.
So kind of teaches us that you may be a basketball athlete, you may be famous. but you're still a student. Studies are still important.
Student athlete
Sorry,
again.
studies are important, not still important, are important.
Yes, yes.
Right.
So honestly
So,
happy for me to be the guy I'm today.
so what are your like tips for time management? Like you talked about lacking sleep. Like how are you able to like manage your energy? This is what I always ask. Like, okay, yeah, there's time management, but energy management, especially since you said you didn't have a lot of sleep. Like how are you able to do that and then still balance like that work life aspect?
You'd be
You know.
surprised because like okay, maybe at night I would get maybe 5 to 6 hours. My nap is like 2 to 4 hours in the afternoon, so I did catch up on sleep. It's still sleep.
Yeah.
And for me, I think the time management really, the first important thing is finding what works for you. That's really important for you because
Mm, yeah.
as Nina said, me and her are night owls and that's when we're most productive. Like
Yeah.
even if I sleep that and work, let's say that extra 2 hours I sleep at night, I have to work in the afternoon. I won't get as much done in that 2 hours in the afternoon.
Oh my god, mood. Yeah.
I'd rather not sleep and work on this than just catch up on my sleep later. So at
Yeah.
least I get more work done. And I know people who would sleep at 10 and wake up at 2 to 4 a.m. and work after. Like I can't do that. So you have to find what works for you talaga. If it means that okay, you're a master crammer and you work best cramming, sige lang, go cram. I won't say it's bad. Honestly, if it makes you feel that that's your most productive, go. And then second would be I think it's just managing what's really urgent and important at the moment. So you gotta hit the more urgent and important things now. That's where you have to prioritize your time. So like, okay, you got a quiz, that's what you have to study for. Like and you have a project maybe 2 weeks in advance that you want to advance, but you have an LT. So you have to do the LT first talaga. Like even though let's say, okay, I'm super psyched. Like I want to do this project now. I feel so hyped about it. But it's due 2 weeks from now. And you have a LT 2, 3 days from now. You have to do the LT first. And lastly is for me is you have to maximize your time. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I allocate 2 hours to study before I sleep. Like I gotta get as much done as I can in those 2 hours. And if you finish early, great. You have an extra hour for sleep, an extra hour to work on something else. Because we can't extend time. Like we don't like whatever time's passed is past. We just have to make do with what we have really and get the most out of it.
So I also want to talk about your course because I feel like a lot of people don't know about it. Like you were applied chemistry, right?
Yes.
So like, di ba you took masters
I'm
on this
taking
also?
masters now. I'm still in it.
Oh my gosh! So how is it like so far? Like, I mean, you're still doing basketball, but you're also taking masters in chemistry pa rin?
Sustainability management.
Oh, okay, I want to hear more about this. What inspired you to continue to take masters in that? Like, what thing in chemistry inspired you the most to take that up?
Okay, so for me taking a master's, because I actually had one more playing year left and I had to be enrolled to play. And I was planning to play my last year. And I finished my course in 4.5 years. So I just extended by one semester.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to sign up for a master's to stay in it. Looking at the masters, I actually cut it down to two. Sorry.
Uh-huh.
MBA, which is what everybody gets, or sustainability management. I learned about this because the Nieto twin sister took it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I started hearing about it. A little talk here, talk there. You hear about it, and I checked out the course. It seemed good.
Uh-huh.
Seemed something I'm interested in, and I also thought that's something we need going forward. So I had to choose those between those two.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I ended up in MSSM rather than NBA was the first was MBA was in Rockwell. So
Sayang, I would see you also, not just not Jet Manuel. I'd also see Isaac go if you took MBA.
but it's Rockwell, and I was still practicing with the team. So I would still have to work out with the team. So
Mhm.
Rockwell was out, and second was because for athletes going to jump into the NBA, there's the 2 years is waived experience.
Mm, mm.
I thought about it and said, okay, I can get an MBA 4 years earlier, a few years earlier than everybody else. But what would I learn? Because A lot of these people who join MBA have this experience already to back everything they're gonna learn from. So everything the masters professors are gonna teach them, they learn in class, they'll be immediately be able to relate it to the workplace because they have had first-hand experience. And that's something I don't have. So imagine I'm coming in everything from a theoretical standpoint. And that's what you most people learn in college, that everything's theoretical. They're gonna teach you it very theoretical in college because you don't have real life work experience yet.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
when you go into masters, it's more of okay, now I have this work experience. They're gonna teach me something. How do I apply it in a work sense? I didn't have that.
Mm.
So I knew that if I went into masters, MBA, okay, I'd finish it. Lugi pa rin ako eh. So that left MSSM, and I had conversations with people. I've had talks with the department chair, with people who've taken it. They've all said good things about it. And I understand now we have to be conscious about the environment. We have to be conscious about sustainability because let's be real, global warming, the earth is dying, climate change.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We have to do something about it. And what's good about this masters is that it opened my eyes to certain things. Like okay, the most probably example is like metal straw or plastic straw.
Metal.
Metal.
I don't know you. Yeah,
I'm gonna say metal. I don't. I mean,
I was gonna say metal also.
Okay, so you guys say metal straw, but did you know that it's more energy intensive to make a metal straw? It's more resource intensive. For
I
example,
knew this was a trick
the
question.
trick question.
it's not really a trick question because if you use honestly, if you use a metal straw enough times, it's worth it to produce than a plastic straw
Ah.
over time.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
if people start buying metal straws like plastic straws,
Mm.
it's gonna end up being more energy intensive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that people fail to identify that maybe okay, we talk about metals like metal straw. Okay, save the environment. And it's also at the same time there are certain factors in society that you have to consider. Like is everybody gonna be incentivized enough to bring up metal straw everywhere? Like
Right.
because it's let's be real, it's for some people you want a plastic straw, it's convenient, you throw it away after you're done. Great, you don't have to worry about it. Unlike a metal straw, you have to bring it around.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to
Wash
wash it
it.
after.
Yeah.
What if I accidentally throw it with my cup?
I did that. Oh, I have to get a new one. Oh.
Oh
And
my god.
also that like what if you bite your teeth with it? But you're also your dental health.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of these factors that you have to consider and that open my eyes that it's not everything face value.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you have to look at society also because are you gonna trade the convenience of a little bit more expensive now? I have to carry a metal straw every time rather than just getting a plastic. So there's a lot of factors that it brought up to light that oh, it's not all okay. Because remember we had this phase where plastic straws are bad, plastic bags are bad, and like example the paper bag, plastic bag. Like everyone said, paper bags better, but if you
Mm-hmm.
don't throw paper bags properly, and if they up in landfills, apparently it doesn't decompose as fast. Also, it ends up decomposing at the same time as plastic bags because there's no oxygen in these landfills.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these paper bags also have these plastic coating on them or something that doesn't make it as easily recyclable. So there are a
Mhm.
lot of these factors that like I honestly failed to consider growing up. That I always thought that okay, I'll try to avoid plastic as much as possible. So that's why I think this masters is really important for me. Help me grow, help me open my eyes that okay, not everything is black and white. Maybe there are times where plastic is better. Maybe there are certain items that still have to be disposable for one reason or another. Like let's say injections or needles. Like you can't recycle those. It's very different. Like health hazard unless
Right.
treated properly. So there's a lot of things that I honestly didn't think that was possible, and it kind of opened my eyes. Like, damn, okay. The question now is how do we teach people to be this conscious? How do we teach people to be a little bit more aware? Because that's where it starts. You can't have action if there's no awareness, there's no knowledge, there's no
Yeah.
intention.
True. Mm-mm.
So you have to find a way to convince these people to relay information to these people. Then that's when you're able to okay. Now I know these people are aware. I already know how I'm gonna say it. Now I have to incentivize and convince them that they have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I first learned about these types of stuff, I was honestly blown away. I was like, oh damn, this is cool. So yeah, this master's been really enjoyable for me. I mean, it's tough, the paperwork, the research work,
Mhm.
this extra studying. It's tough, but there are things that I've learned that I've carried over. Like, oh damn, okay, this is how I should approach certain problems. This is how I'm gonna convince this person to do this thing.
Ang galing because like you're so passionate about it. So I'm very happy that for you that you found that masters.
Yep.
Yeah, and I really love the sentiments that you shared, especially, this whole different angle of, people normally just see Isaac as, playing basketball, but there's this whole side of you that's passionate about the environment, sustainable materials. And I don't know, maybe a lot of people didn't know that. That's really interesting. And I love that you brought that up. And Isaac, I'm really curious right now. Given all of these things, the masters that you're taking, what do you want to do with this afterwards? No, siguro 3, 4, 5 years down the line, what's next for you?
I think what's next is of course my pro career. That's the thing that's in the horizon right now. Um,
Yeah.
Nice.
but in terms of the sustainability, I honestly am still in a way quite lost where I want to take away with this. How do I? Because like the easiest would be is I apply it to a business, whatever business I try to set up. But the way the course is being taught right now, in a research sense, is that we're gonna be helping multinationals, be in a consulting firm that either we help them make the sustainability reports to identify issues, or we have to review them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that because I don't see myself going to corporate at this point. Maybe I don't see myself in maybe consulting. It's possible, but let's say full time. Okay, you're gonna work for this multinational company producing this sustainability report, and I'm really not sure at this point, to be honest. Like I don't know what I can do with this masters right now, and honestly, 3 to 5 years. But I know it's something important going forward, something we have to be very conscious of. Because let's be real, if we hit a point where we say like we can't turn it back, we're all dead. So
Yeah.
we still have a chance. We have to push a little bit more out there, get people involved, and it's the small changes. Because honestly, we always think that I'm just one person, my
Mhm.
impact doesn't matter. But if you build that up to let's say 100,000, 1 million, it builds
Yeah.
up. But to return to your question, I deviated a lot.
It's okay.
No, but it's so nice because it just shows how passionate you are about this. So it's very interesting. Like I don't think a lot of people know like this side of you.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But I honestly still don't know what to do with it. Really, to be fairly honest with you, I still don't know how I'm gonna be able to maximize what I've learned this masters. To me, the environment and the country, honestly, at this point. So hopefully, your podcast in 3 to 5 years, you can ask me again. So how's your
I just find it amazing because like okay, the fact that you're this passionate about something, you're gonna go somewhere. Like you may not be sure what to do with it now, but like personally, I feel like passion can take you places. So good luck with everything. Like yeah.
Good luck, because yeah, I mean, you have this passion to do these things and all of these ideas. I'm sure it will get you somewhere. Having all of this with you, right, Nina?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I see constant that's always happening in your life, I mean, you always take action. And I think you just said this in passing, but you literally said, like, I wrote it down. As you can't have action without awareness. And I feel like, especially with tackling, like, for example, the issues that you knew you had when you wanted to get into the roster in Ateneo, to how you tackled, like, I think, the your masters right now, you really did take action. So I mean, like what I'm trying to drive at is it's very important that the first step is to always know. Like, don't you think, Jeff? I feel like it's very important na we have to acknowledge that it is a step to know, and we don't just go straight into taking action, right?
That's right. Hashtag deep. Thank you,
Oh my
Martin.
god, you finally said it after forever.
Because honestly, it's difficult. Because how do you know that if you're doing something, it's very difficult to keep doing something unless you're a robot and not know why you're doing it.
Mm,
It's very difficult because eventually after a while you're like, why am I doing this?
yeah.
And we're all not robots that okay, we'll do it just because. We need that awareness. We need that. That's what makes us human. The ability to think, the ability to discern information, the ability to find meaning in something.
the show, I just want to ask, what's one thing the listeners have to hear that isn't said enough? Like, what do you think is
Okay, because I already talked about sustainability. I'm not gonna try to talk about that anymore. Because I kind of went along with that for a good chunk. So what I'm gonna say na lang is that be careful with social media. In my time, I've been very lucky that I really don't have a lot of haters. I'm
that?
very lucky. Like even if I missed that shot against LaSalle that would have swept. There was no haters. When I committed my offensive foul, I had no haters. I didn't make the team. I had no haters. Like I'm very lucky that I don't have that.
Yeah.
And social media is a very right now a very toxic place for me at times where like you all hear about bad stories, people trolling each other, people just trashing each other online. It's very difficult, man. Like
Yeah.
because for most people, it's very easy to switch it off. For some people, like they can just switch it off. Like I don't care what you say. But for some, they're not as mentally strong as that because they've been exposed to it at an early age. So just be careful what you post on social media. And we're in a time where information can easily be accessed. Like we don't have to go to the library anymore. Honestly, we have our computers,
Right.
and
Yeah.
we can find anything. We can learn about anything online. Just be careful about what you post. Be careful how you phrase your words because the difference between social media and meeting people face to face is the intonation, the sarcasm. There are certain aspects that you can't carry over when you type or say something.
Right.
And honestly, be careful what you say because right now, anything you say online can be taken against you. So
Mhm.
be very conscious, be very careful what you post. I understand maybe you send that drunk tweet one time or you post this wrong picture one time. It's okay. Like you will have those mistakes, but on the most part, try to make social media a better place for everybody. Like it's okay to criticize. It's okay to give constructive criticism if needed.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because I know that there are times where you really need to do it. Let's be real. But just going out and bashing someone without any logic, just going after it, just bashing someone just because you don't like the shirt they wear,
Mhm.
because let's say like just respect everybody's ideas, man. Like try to make it a better place for everybody because we hear so many stories of like people getting depressed, people getting into trouble, people kind of like it just ruins someone's day, man. If you just tweet
Yeah.
something like that and there's no sense behind it and you're just hating on someone.
Yeah, it really affects
Yes.
people's mind, like everything.
Yeah.
Everything that they see.
But at the flip side of that is also that don't believe everything what people post on social media. Because honestly, their word doesn't mean anything unless you make it mean something.
Yeah.
Okay, the very few haters I've had down the line, the words they said was like, okay, you say that about me. Because I'm the type of person that I would love to prove you wrong. So
Yeah.
if you hate on me, I'll prove you wrong. So I'm lucky that I have that kind of personality. So but there are others who don't have it. So you just really have to be careful of what you read on social media, how you take it. Honestly, it could be just some random person tweeting one random thing that just ruins your day or gets you affected.
Right. And I could not agree with you more, Isaac. Now, being careful on social media, what you hear and what you say, that is the essence of the show. Hearing them out, listening is an important
Yeah.
skill. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what we're all about. And I couldn't agree with you more. And speaking of things we post on social media, we want to put some good things out there. So, do you want to shout out anyone, on social media or say hello to anyone? Or we wrap everything up.
Wala naman. I'm really chill. As if you've seen my social media, I've been kind of relaxed. I haven't tweeted in how many? I think it's almost been a
Here's
year. Year. I don't know. I haven't tweeted much. Instagram, I've been posting maybe once a week, not so much. You guys, honestly, you guys are doing something good. Like I really enjoy the podcast. I listen to it when I work out.
Oh.
Oh,
I
thank
honestly
you.
have to listen to Jet's episode. I haven't listened to that yet. Though. But keep doing what you're doing, guys. It's really interesting. Really doing good. I
Yeah.
hope that it grows. I hope that eventually you get sponsors, as I saw one of your Instagram posts.
Uh,
But you honestly, you guys keep it up, man. It's honestly one of the most fun podcasts I've been on. One of the best fun interview I've been on.
Oh.
Um, yeah, I just really enjoyed it. So great job, guys.
Wow, we got a shout out from a guest.
Oh, and yeah, this has been so fun, and it was really so nice to have you on the show and to hear this interesting side of you that even I didn't really know about. I
Yeah.
was really surprised. So thank you again, Isaac. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me. Really had fun. Definitely.
Yeah, and I appreciate the time. And so, to everyone listening, this is Isaac Go and his very interesting other side that not a lot of us know. So, you know, yeah.
Kahit si Jeff nagulat eh.
I mean, like I knew the master side, but I didn't realize how passionate you were about it. So it's also very nice to know that like you can really be passionate about a lot of things. It's ang galing eh. Like I didn't know those things about I feel bad for a metal straw now. Joke lang.
Okay. Thanks so much, Isaac. Talaga. This has been great, and I really enjoyed. Didn't you, Nina?
I really enjoyed it. This
Glad
was
to hear
fun.
that.
That's all the time we have for now. Thanks so much again for listening. This has been your host. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Nina.
This has been Hear 'em Out.